The descent into madness. Panicking, he began reciting protective mantras. Slowly, the room calmed until a loud knock came on the window. His room was on the first floor. No one could reach that window from outside. And yet, a ghastly silhouette appeared through the glass. Drenched in sweat, he chanted faster, trembling. He kept chanting until dawn. Morning horror. At breakfast, while sitting with Mrinali, he lifted the lid on his plate, only to find his own severed head staring back at him and grinning. "Your death is here. You will suffer, and no one will save you." Screaming in madness, he ran back to his chamber, where a massive mirror awaited him. In it, he saw not just his reflection, but dozens of vengeful spirits standing behind him. Terrified, he smashed the mirror and began cutting himself with the glass shards. Mrinali rushed in, grabbed the shards from his hand, and tried to calm him down. "You've changed since last night, Vikram. Something terrible is haunting you. We must call a priest." Tears welled up in her eyes. Meanwhile, in her chamber, Saundarya held a photograph in her hand, the same emperor's, and whispered, "Don't worry, I will take your revenge." Slowly, watching him suffer every day, every night, until his last breath. But what was this revenge for? What had Emperor Vikram done in the past that made Saundarya thirst for his death? Who was Saundarya, really? Would Queen Mrinali uncover the truth? Would the emperor survive the curse, or perish painfully as Saundarya planned? To find out, stay tuned for part 2 of The Cursed Enchantress. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thanks for my family. The haunt begins. Inside his chamber, Emperor Vikram was asleep beside his queen, Mrinali. Suddenly, he felt someone whisper in his ear. Then, a tug on his blanket. He opened his eyes. No one. But when he turned to look at Mrinali, his heart froze. Her face was melting, her eyes pitch black, skin hanging like wax, and an inhuman smile stretched across her face. He screamed, but in the blink of an eye, it all vanished. "What happened?" the real Mrinali asked, startled awake. "Nothing. A nightmare, perhaps," said the emperor, still sweating, trembling. But the night didn't end. As he turned to the wall, he saw a shadowy figure sobbing, a black silhouette now slowly approaching him. As it neared, he could see its bloodied mouth and twisted head. He wanted to scream again, but his voice failed him. The shadow stood right before him and snapped its neck violently. Vikram looked at Mrinali again, only to see her face turn back into the horrifying figure from earlier. He jolted upright, and everything vanished again. No shadow, no ghost. The night of the new moon. That night, under the dark veil of Amavasya, everyone in the palace was asleep. Only a few guards patrolled the front gate, but the rear door was completely unguarded. Saundarya wrapped herself in a black cloth, carried her bag, and slipped out toward the village cremation grounds. At the gate, she anointed both corners with her blood and entered. She lit a new fire pit and began chanting mantras, invoking restless souls. She took out a small clay pot from her bag and placed it near the fire. As the chanting grew deeper, she heard whispers, many voices at once. Without wasting a second, she pulled out a black chicken, its mouth and claws tied, and offered it to the fire as sacrifice. The flames flared up violently,
The winds turned into a howling storm. The clay pot started shaking as if the spirits were entering it. After a few minutes of horrifying chaos, everything went dead silent. She quickly covered the pot with a black cloth, tied it with a red rope, and returned to the palace. At the rear gate, she buried the pot under the threshold and returned to her chamber at around 2:30 a.m. Lying in bed, she whispered, "I guess it begins tonight. What I have waited for all these years." Clutching the emperor's photo, she grinned.
At the royal palace, Emperor Vikram, handsome yet arrogant, sat restlessly in his chamber. When Soundarya finally arrived, he left his room at once to meet her in the palace courtyard. "Your beauty exceeds even the rumors I've heard, but my heart longs not just for your beauty, it craves your dance," said the king, mesmerized. Soundarya bowed and began her performance. Her movements were so enchanting that the emperor couldn't take his eyes off her, lost, completely spellbound. It was as if she wasn't a mortal, but a seductress from the spirit realm. Once the dance ended, she bowed and softly spoke. "Your Majesty, I have performed. Kindly allow me to return now." But the king was already intoxicated by her charm. "No, from now on you will live in the palace. You shall dance only for me, never for anyone else again." Soundarya smiled sweetly. "As the emperor commands, but I must first return to my mansion to collect some essential belongings." The king ordered his guards to escort her back. When she reached her mansion, she stopped the guards outside and stepped in alone. Inside, her expression changed. The eerie grin returned. "You see, Vikram, I made you summon me, and now your slow death begins. I will enjoy watching you suffer." She packed her clothes along with her tantric items and returned to the palace. Part 2. It was around 2:30 in the night. In a remote village named Chandrapur, a woman named Soundarya sat inside her ancient mansion in a dimly lit chamber. In front of her was a blazing sacrificial fire pit, Yajñakund, surrounded by tantric items, a human skull, and a bowl filled with fresh blood. A photograph of someone was placed in front of her, a man, onto which she was chanting mantras and sprinkling blood repeatedly. Her face bore a twisted smile, as if the moment she had waited years for had finally arrived. Soundarya then poured the blood into the fire pit, slit her palm with a ritual knife, and let the drops of her own blood fall onto the photograph. She suddenly burst into a chilling laugh. "Just a little more time, and your downfall will begin, Emperor Vikram." She had barely finished her cursed countdown when someone knocked at her door. She quickly extinguished the fire and opened the door calmly, only to find the Emperor's guard standing there. "Apologies for disturbing you at this hour, Lady Soundarya, but His Majesty Vikram has summoned you to the palace. He wishes to witness your dance tonight." Soundarya smiled slyly. "The Emperor desires my dance. Then let's not keep him waiting. I too have longed to meet him."
Suresh forgot. That mistake sealed his fate. The curse turned on him, and now it was coming for Ajay. "I don't want to lose you too, son," Saroj cried. "We must find the tantric again." Together, they went deep into the forest, to Baba Agnivesh's broken hut. Inside, he lay like a rotting corpse, covered in infected wounds and boils. "So, the boy is here. Good. He doesn't have much time. Once the mark on his forehead darkens, he will die." Please, Baba, save my son. The Tantric began a sacred ritual to please the Masani goddess. He lit a fire, placed his trident and skull bowl aside, and started chanting. Suddenly, the wind roared through the trees. The flames rose high. Ajay's mark deepened. His body trembled as though his soul was being pulled out. "Oh Masani Ma, forgive us! Please spare my son!" Saroj screamed in desperation. And just then, everything stopped. The fire settled, the wind ceased, the mark on Ajay's forehead began to fade. The Tantric's wound started healing. Peace returned. "Victory to Masani Ma," the Tantric whispered, falling to the ground. If you like this story, don't forget to like and share. For more horror thriller stories like this, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next story. Until then, Namaste.
He told them that someone had performed 5 Kahani rituals, the darkest form of black magic, on her. With great difficulty, he removed the spirits and Priya slowly recovered. But Baba Somanath mysteriously died a few days later, and soon Priya's condition worsened again. Her body started wasting away, her bones protruded, her eyes sunk into dark pits, and her hair would sometimes drip blood. She'd whisper to unseen figures in the dark, "Will you come with me? I've come to take you." One night she asked her mother for 2 spoonfuls of food. "I don't think I'll survive, Ma. Please feed me with your hands once." She smiled faintly, laid her head in her mother's lap, and never woke up again. After Priya's death, Suresh changed. He was furious. He vowed revenge, no matter what the cost. "I want to learn black magic, Baba. I want to make the one who killed my daughter spit blood." The Tantric, Agnivesh Baba, agreed, but warned, "The path you're choosing, people don't return. They become shadows." Baba revealed that the one behind Priya's suffering was Kamla, Suresh's cousin. She had performed the 5 Kahani rituals out of revenge for a piece of ancestral land Suresh had refused to return. Consumed by rage, Suresh performed the Masani ritual under Agnivesh Baba's guidance, calling upon the wrathful goddess of the cremation grounds. At night, using ashes from burning pyres, Agnivesh Baba began the ritual. Soon the black magic Kamla had cast rebounded on her. She screamed in agony, coughed blood, and died a horrible death. But the ritual had one strict rule: a blood offering must be made to the Masani goddess.
Shocked and heartbroken, Ajay grabbed his bag and rushed to the bus stand. His mind was filled with questions and fear. At the police station, Inspector Arun asked him a few questions. "Did your father have any enemies?" "No, sir. I don't know much since I've been living in the city." "His body was found near the cremation grounds. There's something strange about the way he died, and there's a mark on his forehead, like it's been burned." "Can I see him?" "Yes, but we'll need to go to the hospital morgue." Ajay followed the inspector with trembling steps. Inside the cold room, under a white sheet, lay his father's lifeless body. As the inspector pulled back the sheet, Ajay burst into tears. But something caught his eye: a deep, scorched mark on his father's forehead. "Sir, what is this mark?" "We don't know. It's not explained in the autopsy report, but I believe it has something to do with how he died." Without wasting time, Ajay traveled to his native village. At the old family house, his mother, Saroj, saw him and broke down in tears. "Son, what's this mark on your forehead?" "What mark, Mom?" "It's the same one that appeared on your father's forehead before he died." Ajay was stunned. He told her everything: the nightmares, the tantric, the police call, the mark. Saroj wiped her tears and began revealing a dark secret. "Your father, Suresh, had a curse on him, son. It started with your sister, Priya. Her mysterious illness. No medicine worked. One night, during her worst episode, she screamed as if something was burning her from inside. A spirit had possessed her, one that demanded blood. She needs her blood, She's taking her away.
One day, this curse will devour you too. You will pay the price for your ancestors' sins. You'll die soon. Thank God. It was just a dream. Gasped Ajay, waking up drenched in sweat. Ajay lived in a hostel in Delhi, where he was studying in college. To manage his expenses, he worked part-time at a small store. Everything in his life was going fine until a few weeks ago. He had started having strange, terrifying nightmares. Every night, the same face appeared, a sinister tantric with glowing red eyes like flames burning within them. And each time, the tantric would repeat the same chilling words. That evening will consume you too. One night, after yet another nightmare jolted him awake, Ajay's phone rang. Hello? This is Inspector Arun from Bhadoi Police Station. Your father's body has been found near the old cremation grounds. We need you to come in for questioning immediately.
What? What are you saying? What happened to my father?
We don't have all the answers yet. Please come to Bhadoi. We'll talk in person.